Today I'm going to be teaching you how to solve the Rubik's Cube. Now, a regular 3x3 Rubik's Cube has 6 sides, and on each of those 6 sides there are certain pieces you may want to know about. Now, first off, there are center pieces, which are these pieces, and they don't move, meaning, for example, white is always going to be the opposite of yellow. Same thing with like green and blue, and then red and orange. So they're always going to be kind of positioned like this. Second off, there are edge pieces, which are the pieces with 2 colors, like here. And these pieces can be moved around, and same thing with the corner pieces, which is the pieces with 3 colors. Those pieces can all be moved around, so just make sure you know those pieces well. Second off, when we're solving the Rubik's Cube, we're going to be using some algorithms, and you may see on these algorithms there's these weird like letters that you might not know what they mean. However, these letters basically just represent which side you're going to be turning. For example, the upside of the cube, which is the top side, the upside is represented by the letter U. The right side is represented by the letter R, the left side L, the front side F, the downside or the bottom side D, and the back side B. So just make sure you know all those letters because you're going to need them when we're doing these algorithms. Now, these algorithms also tell you whether or not you're going to be turning the letter clockwise or counterclockwise. So if you just see the regular letter, for example, U, that just means turn the upside clockwise. If you see U, then a prime symbol, then you're going to turn it counterclockwise. So U and then U prime, kind of like that. So before solving, just make sure you familiarize yourself with these letters and algorithms because they're going to be very important to know when we're actually solving the cube. Now, the method I'm going to be teaching you today is called the layer by layer method, which is basically the beginner's method or the easiest way of solving the Rubik's Cube. Now, this method consists of 7 steps, and I'm going to be doing a quick walkthrough of each of those steps. Now, the first step is basically creating a white cross while also making sure these edge pieces colors are matched up with the correct centers, as so. Now in step 2, you're solving the whole white side and at the same time the whole first layer. Now in the third step, you're solving the second layer by putting the edge pieces in their correct slots. In the fourth step, you're creating a yellow cross on the top. In the fifth step, you're making sure that these edge pieces are all matched up with the correct centers. Now in the sixth step, you're orienting all the corners to make sure that they could be corrected very easily. And the 7th step is just correcting those corners, and that basically just solves the cube. Okay, so now let's get into the first step of solving. Like I said before, the first step is creating the white cross on top, while also making sure that these edge colors are matched up with those centers. So the way you're going to want to hold it is have the white center facing up, because we're going to make the white cross on top. Now, just first off, look around the cube and find any edge pieces with white on them. So there should be 4. We see one right here, and then these 2 right here. But I say the easiest way first to start off is look on the very bottom layer and look for any edge pieces with white. So for example, here's one right here. We have a white and green edge piece. So what we can do is just turn this whole layer up so that we have a pair right here, but this edge color is not actually matched up with its center. So what we want to kind of do first is when you see this color right here, you want to turn it until it matches up with the correct center. So we have green, green, and we have our white color right here. We could just turn this up, and then we have our first part of the white cross done. Now again, look at the bottom for any more white edges. We have one right here, white and blue. However, you notice this time that the white is actually facing us. This is where we're going to have to use the algorithm. Not yet though. So we have to make sure that this blue piece is matched up with the right center. This is orange, so just turn it until it's matched up. Okay, now it's matched up, so we could turn it up. And in order to flip this so that it's correct, we use this algorithm. U prime, R prime, U, and then F prime. So what we basically did, we just flipped the edge without messing any of our progress. Now if we look around the cube again, there's no white edges on the bottom. However, there's actually just one already up here, and you can see that this orange edge is matched up with the correct orange center. However, all we need to do is flip it. So we use the same algorithm again in this case. U prime, R prime, U, then F prime. And let's look around the bottom for one more. Here's another one that's already on the bottom, and luckily the white's on bottom, so that this is an easy case. We don't actually have to use the algorithm here. We just have to turn it until this color matches the center. There we go, and then we could just turn this up like so. Now sometimes when you're solving, you might get a case where you actually have an edge that's like stuck in here, and you can't really, it's hard to get it out of here because these two are solved. You don't want to destroy anything. So the easiest way to get it out is by just turning this layer down so that you get this edge on the bottom, and then turning this whole bottom layer out of the way. You can actually move it this way if you want to. I'm going to move it this way, and then just moving this back up. So by doing that, we were able to move the edge on the bottom without destroying any of these. And now you see now it's on the bottom, so we have this case again. We just match it up with the center, and then we can easily just turn it on. Now if you see something like this, or even if you make a mistake, if you accidentally, or you see just like a white edge that's not paired with the right center, this is really easy to fix. All you have to do is just turn the whole layer down, then just, now it's on the bottom, so you could just repair it with the correct center, like so. So there you go, that's the end of step 1. So now we're going to move on to step 2. And for step 2, you're going to want to turn the cube upside down so that the yellow center is on top. And step 2 is basically you're just solving this whole entire layer. So to do that, we need to get the correct corner pieces in the right slots. Now, like I said before, corner pieces are pieces with 3 colors, for example, like these pieces right here. And the corner pieces that we're going to need to put in here will all have white in them, and there's going to be 4 of them. So to begin this step, just look around for any corner pieces with white on them. We see 4 right here. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so these are the pieces we're going to need to put into these slots right here. So just to begin, the easiest way to start this step is looking on the very top layer and just look around for any pieces with white on them. We already have 3 up here, so we can start with any. Let's start with this one. So we have, just first off, note the colors on that corner. We have blue and orange, and to start off, what you're going to want to do is make sure that this corner is in between the right centers. So actually it already is. It's in between the blue and orange center, and the color on the corner is blue and orange. So this is the first step we're going to have to do in order to do the step 2 algorithm. So the step 2 algorithm, to get this corner down here, you may have to do it like around up to 5 times actually in order to get it down here. But the algorithm is R, U, R prime, U prime. So sometimes you could get it in 1 time, but it could take up to 5 times. This might take more than once, as you can see. Just do it until the white is facing up and it's correctly in the slot. R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime. So that actually only took 3 times, and by doing that, we got the corner correctly in the slot. So now we can look around for more corners. We have another one right here. Take note of the colors green and orange. However, it is not in between the right centers. This is the blue and red centers. So we just have to turn the top layer until it's in between the right centers. This is not right. However, this is right. So we have green and orange, green, orange. It's in between the right centers. Position it on the right side and then just do that same algorithm until you get the white facing up in the slot. Okay, so again, that took 3 times. So we have 2 now. Look around the top layer again. We have another one. Blue, red, blue, red. It's already in between the right centers. So now we can do the same algorithm again. Okay, so again, that actually only took 3 times. And the amount of times you do this, you have to do this algorithm, could really just depend on where the white is positioned. Like, for example, the white for the past few times, it was positioned on the top, meaning we have to do it 3 times. If it's on the right, we have to do it less. So this is the last corner we need to do. It has white on it, but it's green and red. It's in between the blue and red, so we have to turn it. So now it's between the green and red, as you can tell. Put it on the right and then do the same algorithm. So that one took only 1 time, and that's probably the easiest case you can get for this step. Now sometimes when you're solving, you may have a case where you see a white corner that's actually just already in the slot, but it's incorrectly placed. So what you do here is very simple. You just do the same RU, R prime, U prime algorithm until it gets fixed, basically. Because it's on, as long as it's anywhere here on the right side, you just want to do that algorithm again, over and over again until it's fixed. Okay, so that might have taken 4 times, but we were able to fix it. Okay, so another case you might have is if you have a white corner that's incorrectly, or that's not in the right slot, basically. So this is a blue and orange corner, but it is in between the blue and red center, so this is not correct. Now in order to fix this, all you have to do is do the step 2 algorithm one time, and then you're going to be able to get this corner out. So if you do R, U, R prime, U prime, so now you get this corner on the top layer, and then you could correctly pair it with the right centers. So it's blue and orange. Okay, put it in between the blue and orange centers, and then we can do the step 2 algorithm until we get it correctly in here. Okay, so now that we finished step 2, we're going to move on to step 3 now, which is basically we're going to be solving the second layer. But to do that, we need to make sure that these edge pieces are all correct. So as we can tell, a lot of them are just not correct right now. So to start off, we're going to want to look in the top layer for any edge pieces that basically don't have yellow on them, because we don't really need them for this step. Just look for edge pieces that have different colors on them. Like for example, this is an edge piece that we're going to want. Like it has blue and red. So yeah, we're going to want to put this edge piece kind of in its correct slot, which is right here. So to start off, we have an edge right here, and just take note of the color facing us, blue. To start off, we're going to want to turn it until this blue color matches the center. Okay, so it only took one turn. Now this edge, these colors match, okay? Now take note of the color on top, red. So this is a blue and red edge. Now we have to figure out where this needs to go. So does this need to go to the left, or does this need to go to the right? It needs to go to the right because this is the blue and red center, and we notice that this is blue and red, so it needs to go to the right. Now step 3 is a little more difficult because it has 2 algorithms, but they're pretty similar. It just depends on which way you're gonna want to move the edge. So this edge needs to move to the right, so you need to use the right algorithm for this step. So position it like this so that this edge is facing you, and it kind of just looks like this. So do this algorithm: U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, then U, F. And by doing that, you move that edge, which used to be up here, into the correct slot. So yeah, you could see this is correct because the colors all match up. Now look around again for more edges on the top. We actually have one right here. We have a blue and orange edge, and this blue color actually already matches up with the center, so this is good. In this case, this edge needs to go to the left because this is blue-orange, and this is the blue-orange. These are the blue-orange centers, so we know it needs to go to the left. This case, you have to use a different algorithm, the left side algorithm. Make sure it's positioned like this, and do this algorithm: U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, F prime. And by doing that, you get the edge correctly where it needs to go. So we have 2 so far. Now we just need 2 more. Look around the top for more. We have one right here actually. This is the green-red edge. It's not correctly matched up with the center. Turn it until it is. There we go. Okay, so where does it need to go? It does not need to go to the left because we already have one here, but it needs to go to the right. Use the right side algorithm now. U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. Okay, so we need one more now. Here is the last one. We have the green and orange edge. Turn it until this color matches the center. No, no. Okay, there we go. Now this one needs to go to the right. Do the right side algorithm now. U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. Now sometimes in step 3 you might have a case where one of the edges are just not in the right spot. You can see this is a green-orange edge, but it's in between the blue and orange center, so this is not even correct. What you do here, you could literally just make sure this is either on the right or on the left. So you can either do the right side algorithm or the left side algorithm to get this edge out. Just pretend you're putting one of these edges in here, or maybe this edge in here, and by doing that you're just going to move this out. So I'm going to do the right side algorithm in this case to get this out. Okay, so by doing that, you get the edge out, and now it's over here. So then you could properly match it up and recognize, yeah, right side algorithm here. Okay, so now that is the end of step 3, and as you can see, you solved the whole entire second layer, along with the first layer as well. Now, step 4, you're going to be solving the yellow cross on top. And there are actually 3 possible cases you can get initially. And this is one of them where you have a backwards L created with the yellow edges and the yellow center. Another case you can have is where you just have a straight line of yellow. And the third case you can have is where you just have the yellow center and no other yellow edges facing up. Now let's go over this case first, where you have a backwards L. So you're going to want to have it positioned like this so that the top looks like this. And you're going to perform this algorithm. This is the step 4 algorithm. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. So now we have a straight line. So when you have, this is the second case you can get too. When you have a straight line, position it like this so that it's sideways, and then do the same step 4 algorithm again. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And by doing that, you solve the yellow cross. Now let's go over the third case you could get, which is basically just having a yellow center with no other yellow edges facing up. This is honestly not so difficult. You use the same algorithm. It just takes like maybe a little turn of the top layer at some point. So what you do here, just you could position it any way. Just make sure the yellow center is on the top and do the step 4 algorithm one time first off. And after you do it one time, you get this backwards L again. However, it's just positioned in a different way. So you just have to turn the top layer until it's positioned like this. And then you could do the step 4 algorithm again. And then you get the straight line again. So just do it one more time. And then you should be able to get the yellow cross after that. So yeah, that is step 4. I think it's probably one of the easier steps. It's really quick as well. Now we're going to get into step 5, which is making sure that these edge colors all match up with the correct center pieces. So initially, you might see that, yeah, none of them are actually matched up. But every time after solving the yellow cross, you're going to have at least 2 edges that are matched up with their centers. And to start off, we're going to want to turn the top layer until we could find 2. Okay, we only have 1. Keep turning it. Okay, so now we have 2. This is an ideal case we kind of want. What we really want, yeah, is 2 edge pieces that are matched with their centers that are directly next to each other. Because in this case, we only have to do the algorithm one time. And yeah, these are not matched, but we're going to fix that. So to start off the step 5 algorithm, just position it so that this edge is on the left, this one is facing you, and do this algorithm. L, U, L prime, U, L, U2, and then L prime, U. And after one time, yeah, all the edges should be correctly matched with their centers. Now, another case you can get in step 5, if you're turning the top layer, looking around, yeah, okay, so you see 2 edges that are matched up, however, they're opposite of each other. So this is a less ideal case you can get, yet it's still pretty easy to fix. All you have to do is do the step 5 algorithm with facing any direction. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so now after doing it one time, you should be able to turn the top layer and find 2 edges that are adjacent to each other. So just keep turning it, turn it. Okay, so we have 2 adjacent to each other like this. Now we can do the step 5 algorithm like we did before. And by doing that, you solve all the edges correctly. So that was step 5, also straightforward, maybe a little harder than step 4, but yeah, still not so difficult. We're gonna move on to step 6 now, which is orienting all these corners. Now, if you don't know what orienting means, I'll give you a little example. For example, this corner is actually oriented correctly because you can see the colors are blue and orange, and it's basically surrounded by the blue and orange sides. So this is oriented. All we have to do is just like turn it and correct it. This is not oriented correctly because this is the green and red corner. However, it's surrounded by the blue and red centers. So this is incorrectly oriented corner. So we need to fix those, all of these. None of these are oriented actually. So this is the most ideal case we can get for step 6, where we have 1 oriented corner and the rest aren't. And in this case, we just have to do the step 6 algorithm now, making sure that this oriented corner is on the right, and do it like so. U, R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, then L. And look around. Okay, so this is the most ideal. Sometimes you may have to do that algorithm more than once. In this case, we only have to do it one time, and all the corners are actually oriented now, as you can see by the colors. Now, sometimes in step 6, you may find that you actually you can't find any corners that are oriented, and yeah, you see that all of them are just not even oriented. This is also very easy to fix. All you have to do is just do the step 6 algorithm facing any direction. And usually after doing it once, you should be able to find at least one corner that's oriented, like right here. This one's oriented because it's green, red. It's surrounded by the green and red side. So make sure this is on the right side, and then do the step 6 algorithm again. Look around. Okay, so none of them are oriented. So this means we just have to do it one more time, and it should be able to orient all the corners. Okay, there we go. So that is the end of step 6. Now we're going to move on to step 7. And for step 7, you're going to want to flip the cube so that the yellow is on the bottom and the white is facing up. Now this step is very similar to step 2. It actually has the same algorithm as well. So like I said before, when you're basically, it's kind of the same, because you can tell this is, just pretend it's like the end of step 1 and you're moving into step 2. Except the corners you want to put into place are on the bottom. They're not actually on top. So, like I said before, the step 2 algorithm is RU, R prime, U prime. You're going to do that algorithm for each of these, or each of the oriented corners until it gets solved. And then after that, you're going to turn the bottom layer to the next one. Do it again, turn it, do it again, and so on. What people mess up on sometimes on this step is they fix corners and then they turn the cube to the next corner. That is going to mess up the whole step. So you're going to do it like this. So we're going to start off with this corner, R, U, R prime, U prime. Keep doing it until it's fixed. Okay, so once it's fixed, turn the bottom layer to the next corner and then do the same algorithm again. So once that's fixed, turn it to the next corner. Okay, now it's fixed, turn it to the very last corner. And just ignore everything that's messed up. Only focus on fixing the corners, because once you fix the last corner, everything's going to fix on its own. And usually you just have to do one more turn after that. By doing that, you basically solve the Rubik's Cube.